All right, we're rolling. Fellow sleuths, hello. It is now Tuesday, December 7th. It is December 7th, Tuesday, and I am sleuthing. And sleuthing sucks. But I have Google, and Google's my friend. So today, I don't really have any updates for you guys, except for I'm sleuthing, and I'm doing some research. Because I did the research on the gun this last weekend, and it's the phone records. The phone records are going to be the key to crack this. And here, let me list the reasons why the phone records are going to crack this. The phone records, I need the phone records because, one, point A, is it'll prove that she talked to my dad and my Aunt Wendy for hours before Russell came home that night, proving that their, side of the story is true. She wasn't happy. He was leaving that weekend while he was away in New York. She was planning on packing me and my sister up, the girls up, and she was leaving and she was going back to my dad. They had made all these plans in finality. Okay? So that'll prove that. Also, the phone records will show that he called someone else before he called 911. The phone records will also show that he waited a significant amount of time before he placed his 911 call. How many minutes after, between the neighbor reporting the gunshots with their 911 call and between his 911 call? I'm not sure. I don't know for certain if it's 25 minutes, if it's 15 minutes. How much time between when the neighbors heard the first pop of the gunshot and how quick they will react? I know it was the neighbors. I know who it was. It was my friend Robin's parents. Robin Simon played next door with her. I know that had to have been, because when I looked, I Google mapped the house, and I actually looked at it from my desk, and it was like, it threw me back the other day. I'll actually have to print out a picture and show you guys a picture of the house. I might have some pictures of my mom in front of that house too. I'll have to look at the memory box. Anyway, I looked at like where their bedroom is in correlation to the neighbors, and I was like, I looked at all the houses around, and I was like, I know exactly what neighbor is called, because it was along that side of the house. So, yeah, I know exactly, and that was like a bombshell, as I didn't know who had called the police. So I know if I can touch base, if I can find that girl, her name was Robin Simon, and I could find her parents, oh my God, that would help too, being able to narrow them down and getting their side of the story of what they heard and when they placed their 911 call. But regardless, if I can get the phone records, it'll prove that he placed his 911 call after, because regardless, 911 will have that on their end from when the neighbors placed their call. Following me? So now I've got phone records backing up the family side of the story, and the phone records, showing that. The phone records are going to show that he did some shady shit after she was already, lying dead in the bedroom. He was making calls, taking showers, doing laundry. I know all this. And then the phone records will show that he waited a significant amount of time in between the neighbors calling 911 when they first heard the altercation and when he called it in at 1:40. Happened a little bit after 1. Okay? So what was he doing all that time? We went over that. Oh, the other one is, another thing I got him on is to ask him the dog. Why'd you put the dog outside? Well, why would you do that? He'll have no good reason, because the yard was not fenced in. We did not just put the dog outside. The dog was inside when I went to bed 2 hours prior to. The dog was inside. My mom wouldn't have put the dog outside. That means he put the dog outside. So I want to know what he's going to say when why'd you put the dog outside? What's he going to say to that? And then debunked. I debunked the gun, because they keep in the article that this detective said in that article that the family's putting too much weight in the right-handed theory. Well, yeah. Weight is exactly the word in that, because the gun that killed her was 3 pounds, and it's a dirty, hairy gun, and it had this great big gun bullet in it, and I found out. I had no idea. Well, cops should know that would be really, really hard to fire for a 138-pound woman that's right-handed, to fire at something that she's not familiar with in her left hand, to have to shoot it initially at her boyfriend. They keep forgetting that this gun was fired one time. They keep saying that, yeah, the gun went off in the struggle. Okay, maybe, yeah, the gun was in her hand, but dude, you have no good reason for why there is no gunpowder residue on her right hand if in fact she shot that gun at Russell first. She is right-handed. That big gun would require 2 hands. I do not see somebody not familiar with guns holding a really heavy, dirty, hairy, long gun. It didn't happen. So we debunked that one. So I can suck that. Oh, and my very last one is that I do have a person that Russell has confessed to. He might have confessed to more than just the one that I know about. So he thought he got away with this. He was even confident enough to tell his next girlfriend what he did in the minutes after he killed my mother. He did laundry. He put a load of laundry in. That's why I want to see the crime scene photos. I want to see the fucking laundry room. He couldn't have gotten a whole load done. I want to see the status of the shower. Apparently, my mom told him to take a shower right after he got home. So that would have been around 11:30. So the shower, in theory, shouldn't be wet at 2 a.m. Really? Like, really wet? Like, really, really wet at 2 a.m. when they get there, right? I want to see pictures of him. I want to see if his hair's wet at 2 a.m. Because I know he took a shower. And also, the clothes that they took. When they bagged his 4 pieces of clothing evidence, his shirt, his boxers, they bagged a shirt, his underwear, and his trunks, the basketball trunks he had, and his Nikes. So on those articles of clothing, on that shirt, those boxers, there should be gunpowder residue, right? Because if his side of the story, there should have been a struggle, the gun went off, he was in close proximity to it, right? You following along? There should be gunpowder residue on that clothing. So what I want to know is the clothing that they bagged, if they find this clothing and has no gunpowder residue on it, what does that tell you? That tells me that he changed his clothes. He put his clothes in the washer like his dad told him to when he called his dad before he called 911. This is not hard. So what I've been researching today, sleuthing Google. So I need to know, because clearly I've got to do this on my side, because I have no idea what they're going to say on their side. So right now I'm looking at it as like everybody's the enemy, and I've got to do this on my own, apparently, because I watch all these other cold case files where they all have something in common. Either they have a family member that wouldn't give up, or they had an awesome detective or a cop that wouldn't give up. Well, I figured out last year that my cop, they all gave up. Nobody cares. So it's down to the family. And my aunt, God bless her, I don't get along with her, but she fucking held this torch for the last 28 years. I commend her for that. She kept it lit. Because if she didn't, I would have just kept on going and I wouldn't have done this. But I'm doing this. And I'm going to fucking complete this. And this is not going to be swept under the rug anymore. So what I have discovered is the phone records are what's going to like break this case. So if I have the phone records in my hand, there's no way. Because the cop doesn't want to talk to my dad. I don't know, they just got the information about there's actually somebody out there with a confession. I also think I have found my sister. She's alive. She's going by a pseudonym named Tanya. She's alive, safe, pretty sure. Anyway, back to my research. So what I'm trying to research today is A, is it even legal for me, a private citizen, to request phone records from a home phone in 1993? Maybe a landline. I would have lived there. I'm not an adult, but my name's Waslishan too. So I don't know if the phone bill was A, under her name or his. So they weren't married, so it was either under hers or him. Knowing my mom, finances would probably be under her name. And I need to figure out where provided phone service in Sedona 28 years ago. That's already kind of like difficult, but I found all the telephone companies in Sedona, and I found one that listed how many years they were in service, right? So I wish I had the really cool setup where I could show you guys what I'm looking at, but alas, I own a pet sitting business. I am not a YouTube blogger. I'm doing this to save my mother's soul. So it found me there are 22 phone companies that service the greater Sedona area, all right? So a lot of these have not even been around. They're all cellular, and in 28 years ago, it would have just been a landline. So out of all 22 of these, I found 3 that have been in business in that amount of time, okay? So US Cellular has been in business 38 years. All right, US Cellular, 38 years. Knowing it says US Cellular, they would have been around 10 years by the time my mom went up there. I don't think that she would have something new. Knowing my mom, she would want a big name company. Knowing my mom, like APS. That's just the way she'd roll. So the next one is MTE Communications. Let's go scroll down and find that one, because that was the next one. Where are you, MTE Communications? There it is. MTE Communications, telephone company, telephone communication services, Sedona area. They have been in service for 112 years. From business, MTE Communications have been providing services in Ohio since something we perform essential roles, bring communication to rural communities. So this already, because they've been in service so long, and they're a big communication company with multiple, like Idaho, they mentioned Idaho, but they also serve, here. So I was like, okay, that was a big one. Scrolling through though, we have another one that's been in service for 36 years. Let's find that one. And I don't think it's that one, but I gotta go through all the, okay, here's the next one. I gotta go through all the possibilities. So this one it's been in business 36 years. It's a personal answering service. Just from the name, a personal answering service, I already know that my mom wouldn't go there. So knowing my mother and how she is, and from my sleuthing, what I can conclude is that more than likely this MTE Communications was who my mom had phone service through in 1993. So what I need to know is if I call MTE Communications, can they release me those phone records, or do I have to have like a police subpoena request warrant? I don't know. I don't know if I should even call. They probably think I'm so nuts. I'm like, yeah, so I used to live at this address in Sedona 28 years ago. They probably think I'm crazy. I don't know. I don't know what to do. But this is where I'm at. Like, literally everything is hinging on these fucking phone records. So like I've had high blood pressure. Like, I'm just okay. So while I'm going through all this too, and I'm sleuthing, and I'm asking people questions about these phone records on it. If anybody knows on if I can even have access to that. But another question is, when all is said and done, even if he has not been prosecuted, this is an open case. He's still a suspect, a person of interest. He's never been eliminated. The gun was in his name. It's listed as homicide everywhere. Do you think, any lawyers out there, that I could take him to civil court? He did not have the gun properly locked up. The gun was in his name. I don't know what Arizona laws were in the 90s, but can I hold him civilly accountable, and can I take him to court civilly for my mother's death? I would like to know. It's not suicide. It wasn't her. It's him. Neglect. He left that gun out. I'd like to know. So if anybody's got any feedback on that, it'd be great. And fucking phone records. What do I do? Do I just call this MTE Communications? They're gonna think I'm nuts. I'm already kind of nuts, so fuck it. Should I call them?